Hey, cycling enthusiasts! I've got a fascinating story to tell you about the world of professional cycling and its unique promotion and relegation system. Get ready for a deep dive into the data and the controversies that shape this sport. As a data science enthusiast, I've been obsessed with cycling's promotion and relegation scheme since its inception in 2020. I've analyzed every team's performance, strategy, and the broader impact of this system on the sport. Today, I'll take you through my findings and some of the intriguing controversies that surround this topic. Let's start with the basics. The Union Cycliste Internationale, UCI, created the World Tour, initially known as the Pro Tour, to bring stability and cohesion to the cycling calendar. The idea was simple. A set number of top teams would compete in a select number of prestigious races, ensuring fans could consistently enjoy high-level competition. However, this plan faced fierce opposition from the Maori Sport Organization, ASO, the powerful organizers behind the Tour de France and other iconic races. The ASO-UCI conflict led to the introduction of ethical, organizational, and financial criteria for World Tour licenses. But the implementation of sporting criteria took much longer, and for good reason. Pro cycling had a notorious doping problem, and adding performance pressure could push riders toward illegal enhancement. Only when the athlete biological passport showed promising results in tackling doping did the UCI introduce sporting criteria in 2020. Coincidence or not, a French UCI president, David Leparchant, oversaw this change, and it came hot on the heels of Israel Cycling Academy's entry into the World Tour. The team, owned by billionaire Sylvan Adams, purchased Katusha's World Tour license in 2019. Now, let's fast forward to the 2020 to 2022 promotion/relegation period. The point structure faced heavy criticism for favoring one-day races over stage wins in the Tour de France. Teams like Cofidis and Arkea Samsic exploited this imbalance, focusing on lower-level races to accumulate points. The system only considered the top 10 riders of each team, and Grand Tour stages only awarded points to the top 5 riders, which often led to strategic decisions that prioritized points over thrilling racing. Before the 2023 to 2025 cycle, the UCI revamped the point structure. One-day races now award fewer points relative to the heavily weighted Tour de France. World Tour race victories range from 1,300 points for the Tour de France to 300 points for historical one-day races. This change gives riders more incentive to perform in the prestigious events. The team rankings now include the top 20 riders, benefiting teams with deeper rosters. The Grand Tours now have a much larger share of the overall points pie, while one-day races, which previously accounted for almost half of the points, now make up about a third. But has this system truly rewarded the most qualified teams? In the first cycle, Lotto and Israel outperformed Arkea in World Tour races but were relegated. Since the revamp, Uno X Mobility is likely to be promoted, but they scored the fewest points in World Tour races, still relying heavily on the Pro Series. One of the most dramatic stories is that of XDS Astana. In 2025, they faced relegation but turned their fortunes around with a focus on improvement across the board. A key factor was their increased budget, which allowed them to bring in a data scientist and a raft of talented riders. XDS Astana's strategy paid off, and they ended the year in 4th place, climbing from 21st to 15th over 3 years. The impact of the transfer market is also intriguing. For Astana, it was surprising that most of their points this season came from returning riders, despite their massive recruitment drive. In contrast, Cofidis struggled in the transfer market, and only 18.68% of their points came from new riders. This highlights the importance of a balanced approach to team building. Speaking of wins, I analyzed each team's average points per win, and the results were eye-opening. Teams like Alpecin demonstrated that you don't need to win a lot to stay in the World Tour. It's about making an impact in valuable races. Mathieu van der Poel's Major Classics wins for Alpecin showcase this perfectly. But is winning a streak just a psychological phenomenon? I explored this question and found that while some teams experienced unusual winning streaks, most periods of drought were not immediately followed by streaks of victories. It's an interesting insight into the psychology of sports performance. So, what makes a good World Tour team? It's a complex mix of factors including budget, management, recruitment, and results. But at its core, pro cycling is a human endeavor. A team's success or relegation is a collective effort, and it's the synergy of these factors that determines their fate. There's so much more to uncover in the World Tour data, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. Laura Weislow, your friendly neighborhood data analyst and cycling enthusiast.